Now going to question number 8, we always start with the prompt first, and this prompt is asking us for the function of the underlined sentence in the text as a whole. And when you're being asked about the underlined portion, what matters most is the overall main idea. The underlined portion simply interacts with that main idea. So let's go ahead and find that. This text is from a 1905 novel. Lily and a companion are walking through a park. Lily had no real intimacy with nature, but she had a passion for the appropriate and could be keenly sensitive to a scene which was the fitting background of her own sensations. The landscape outspread below her seemed an enlargement of her present mood, and she found something of herself in its calmness, its breadth, its long free reaches. On the nearer slopes, the sugar maples wavered like pyres of light. Lower down was a massing of great orchards, and here and there the lingering green of an oak grove. So that is definitely not some language that we're used to these days. So we're going to really take our time with this. So we're seeing that Lily herself had no real relationship with nature, but what she could see was what's appropriate, and she's sensitive to a scene that is going to be a background of her own sensations. So right there we're hearing she doesn't necessarily care about nature per se, but if she sees something that matches the way she's feeling inside, that's something she'll notice. So it's implying that what she's looking at here did exactly that. The landscape seemed an enlargement of her mood. So the landscape is doing what the sentence before said. It was matching her mood. It was a good background of her own sensations. She found something of herself in the calmness, the breadth, and the long reaches. So the landscape matched her own mood once again. And next we see on the nearer slopes, the sugar maples wavered with pyres of light. Lower down were great orchards, and here and there the lingering green of an oak grove. So the last sentence is just giving us really specific details of what she saw. So now focusing a little bit more on the underlined part, we're seeing that the landscape was an enlargement of her mood, and she found something of herself in its characteristics. So we're really hearing why she cared about the landscape in that underlined portion, because it matched her mood. Now that sentence itself is a continuation of what had just been said in the previous sentence, because the previous sentence said she didn't really care about nature. She just cared about scenes that would be a fitting background of her own sensations. So if something matched the way she felt inside, then she would care about it. And then the sentence in question, the underlined sentence, is saying that's exactly what was happening here. The landscape was an enlargement of her present mood. So I like this idea here that the underlined sentence is an illustration of an idea that is introduced in the previous sentence. I think the other tempting answer choice here is C, that says the underlined portion is making an assertion that the next sentence expands on. Let me go ahead and just delete some of this highlighting because I think it makes it hard to see. So yes, answer choice C is expanding in a way, because we're hearing about the environment in the underlined sentence, and then in the next sentence, we're seeing a detailed description of the environment. But I don't necessarily think that the next sentence, the one that I'm going to be highlighting in orange here, I don't think that one is expanding on the claim, because once again, the claim is that the landscape was an enlargement of her own mood. And so in this orange sentence here, we're not really seeing anything about her mood. We're just seeing a super detailed description of the area, of the physical setting. So I think to say that it expands on what was said before, it's a little different. It's just giving us a ton of detail. Now getting into the other answer choices, A and B, I don't think A is the detailed image of the physical setting, because that's the orange sentence, not the underlined sentence. And B, I don't think we're seeing any internal conflict. We're seeing that the landscape was an extension of her mood. I wouldn't say that that's a conflict. So we're going to go ahead and go with D here.